Hi, this is Aaron, and welcome to another tutorial about dealing with overlapping shapes in your shapefile. This is going to be a bit of a live, tutorial, so bear with me as I kind of show you how to fix some of these issues. One of the things you can do in QGIS beyond just coloring shapes is actually create and modify the shape files. And one of the big issues that I've come across when trying to create these shape files is you'll have issues where two features will be very, very close to each other, and either there'll be a slight gap or they will slightly overlap, or there will be some self-intersecting aspect of it or invalid aspect where QGIS, if you try to do certain operations, will just be like, hey, there's something wrong here, we can't do it. And you have to spend a lot of time being like, where is it? What's wrong? And how do I fix it? So here we have two files. We have this green file and this pink file. In this green file, it's overlapping with this pink file here. And this pink file here has an self-overlapping. So we have these two shapes, the left shape and the right shape, and they have this overlapping aspect here. And so what we want to do is we want to make it so that there is no overlapping. We'll combine them all into one file, and there will be 5 features. There'll be the main feature on this other, this left, and this right, as well as a left-right feature and an other left feature. So what we're first going to do, the easiest one to do is between two files. I have this one called second test and this one called union test. And so what we're going to do is, it's called a union. So you go vector, then you go to geoprocessing tools, union. And so then you choose that you want to do the union test and then the second test. And so what this is going to do when we run it is it pops out a new file in which the overlapping bits are kind of smushed into it's all flattened. It's smushed into one feature. And so you can see here that this file on the left, you can see these red points where the vertices are. Instead of going in here, it comes out of here. Then we have this middle one here, and then we have the two right ones here, which are still overlapping, but you can see this one as well stops here. And you can kind of tell that because if I just click on this one and I delete it, there's white space. So we'll undo that. So after doing the union between the two files, I've created a new field that shows the combination of the labels for both, where this was just the other, this was just left and right, and this was both. And there's only these 4 shapes. There's no other shapes. And so this is, perfectly good, works just as intended. You just have to, probably the only issue is with the fields and making sure you get the fields right, but it combines them properly. Now the main issue comes when you have overlapping shapes within the same file like we have here. So I can show, let's see, there's the label. So what we're going to do, and this is the nice thing, is if you set it to be 50% opacity, then you can see how this part is darker because it has both the left and the right. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the union of the file kind of with itself. So when you do the union here, so we have kind of some options. We can either choose nothing or we can choose combine. So probably the first one that kind of makes sense is to actually have combine as the second one. So we're going to run it here. And you can immediately see that something didn't work, right? So we can see here on the right here that there is, we don't have the same kind of, right? We're looking for, there should be a line here to show that there is a middle section and a right section, and we don't get that. So I redid the labels to try to show what's going on here. And so this one does so since we've done a union of 3 different we've done 2 unions with these 3 kind of shapes. It's kind of hard to do just one concatenation. So that's why this one just has the dash, because I only focused on these 2 right here. But you can see, so we have left, because it started as a left and it stayed as a left. Same thing for this one on over here. And then also the right. But you can kind of see there's something weird going on here, where you have both a right left and a left right. And so, let's see, we'll make this the 50% opacity. And so you can see, like, okay, there's definitely an overlap going on here. And then I can highlight, right? So here, look at there, left, right. Left, right is right now right there. Now, if I go to right, left, it's also the same thing. And if I look at the left here, it's this full thing. So the union of the file specifying itself as the other file, it doesn't produce this kind of flattened image. It just says, okay, we've got, where there's an overlap, it says, takes the 2 overlapping ones and creates the intersection twice, one for each one. So we have a left to right and a right to left, depending on which direction you're going. So this is not only not helpful because it gives us duplicates, it also does not cut or clip the original ones back, so that if we wanted to, if we had some overlapping and we wanted to give it to one side or the other, we really couldn't, because it would still have an overlapping somewhere. So what we need to do instead is we have to go union on the combine here, but we're going to choose nothing. We're just going to have combine as our input layer. And so when we run that, oh, there we go. Look, we have something that looks pretty good, because we now can see the outline here. And so what we're going to do, it turns out that this does produce a duplicate. So I've highlighted the first one, and if I delete it, there's still one right there. So it does a left, right, and a right, left. But for this one, if you delete both of them, it does do the outline properly. So there's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no way to do an operation that just gives you the one. So what you can do is, if you look at the attribute table, you'll notice that there is no name 3. There's no third thing that goes on, because you didn't specify a second thing to union with. So you won't be able to get the exact kind of specifications of, like, oh, you have this side and then this side, these two shapes go together. But you can pretty easily infer, or there'll be duplicates here. So you can see that there's a left, there's these 2 rights. Is that because I think I deleted? Oh, apparently. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. So I had deleted the second one. So you'll get one of these rights here, and you'll also get 2 of these on the left. And so what you can go through is just make sure that you start out with kind of unique identifiers for all of these. And so, like, kind of a problem here with, that one being technically different but being called the same. But you could probably, I guess we can do here, combine here. So there's these 2 rights here. And so you just you can click on here and it'll show you where it is. And so I can see, so you should be able to see, this is where the kind of complicated part is, because knowing that it produced these duplicates and it doesn't actually tell you what the duplicate is with, you kind of have to just be like, okay, I have this one here, and you just kind of have to figure out which one's the duplicate so that you can delete the right one. So for larger shape files, it can be a bit of a nuisance, but you have to delete one, and then you can highlight both of them if you wanted to keep this in the right, and then choose merge selected features, choose which one you want. And so then when you merge it, you'll get your file as having no overlaps whatsoever. So I hope this tutorial helps if you're working on modifying or creating shapefiles and dealing with issues such as invalid points, overlapping shapes, things like that. And hopefully this kind of clears up how QGIS kind of works internally, so that way you can solve those issues. I mean, it's taken me 2 years to kind of figure out exactly how to fix these things. And so when I go back to my old projects, it's quite a mess, especially for larger ones, because they're just, it just takes a little while. If you stay with every time that you have new shapes and combine them, you take the time to make sure that they don't have overlaps and they don't have these kind of issues. It saves more time in the future when these problems would just keep piling up until it becomes almost impossible to work on. So thank you, and hopefully I'll have more tutorials in the future.